Hello everyone, welcome to this End Times Watcher session. My name is Kyle and I am just an End Times Watcher. I was debating to myself whether or not to give an update of the pandemic agreement work plan as there is really not much to update this round. However, since the progress of this agreement will have deep impact to many of us, I shall do my due diligence to find out and give an update to all of you. In Module SO9, I gave an analysis of the pandemic agreement that was drafted during the 77th World Health Assembly held in June. Here is a recap of the key points of the agreement. A new term was created called pandemic emergency. The definition of this is so loose that as long as one of the listed items is deemed high risk, they can declare a pandemic emergency. Please note, this is a worldwide emergency. They will have the right once this agreement becomes law, sometime in 2026. It is easy to classify any unvaccinated person to be at high risk, not a high risk to themselves, but high risk to other people that are vaccinated. Countries will have the right to enforce the jab to anyone who is deemed high risk. This can be applied to both residents and visitors who is currently in the country. Another development is that participating countries are required to form national IHR. This organization will be formed and owned by the country, but they report to the global IHR that is directly under WHO. Countries are given 5 years to put in an effective national IHR. That means latest by 2029. Keep an eye on this term. You will be hearing it in your local news quite regularly. I have already come across such news. At the end of the 77th World Health Assembly, they agreed to have a meeting in July to follow up on this drafted agreement. IMB 10, or Intergovernmental Negotiating Body 10th meeting, was held on 16 and 17 July. This is the website with the 3 PDF documents of the agenda. If you scroll down the web page, you can access the recordings of the meetings itself. However, I shall share what is in the third document. You can download the document and read it for yourself. It is in PDF. The key focus of this meeting is to draft up a work plan and follow-up meetings leading to their deliverables. To get the work plan drafted, we can expect that there will be a few groups formed to address different portions of the work plan. These will be informal meetings, meaning no formal reports will be released to the public. However, relevant stakeholders can be invited to observe these closed-door sessions. In other words, the role of these stakeholders are to observe and ensure that the work sessions are carried out with due diligence. Hence, there is no way we can keep track of these informal workgroup meetings. Fortunately, we can keep track of the upcoming IMB meetings. IMB 10 is done. IMB 11 will be held in September and IMB 12 in November. The work plan is targeted to be ready by December 2024. If they need more time to complete the work plan, IMB 13 and IMB 14 are scheduled backup meetings. After all, the work plan is only due in May 2025 to be presented for approval at the 78th World Health Assembly. If you are concerned, what can you do? Demonstration? Be careful here. Demonstrations can easily be hijacked into a demonstration. Demons will take over your good intention. There will be a perfect excuse for authorities to label anti-vaxxers as a danger to public. What about initiating a petition letter and get thousands to sign it? To the initiator, you will have a sense of achievement. But do you think they will listen? Tell me, how many petitions letters were taken seriously and resulting in your G reversing their decision? All you achieve is to be known as a troublemaker and to be in their blacklist. That will only restrict your movement from doing God's work and saving souls. Many Christians will now be itching to tell me, let's come together and pray against it. Let's organize prayer rally and do 24-hour round-the-clock prayers. Please don't get me wrong. I am a firm believer of fasting and praying. I am also a firm believer that I must pray according to God's will. So before rousing the crowd to pray, let's do our own quiet time and ask God, what does He want you to pray? I said this before in my previous module. If this is in line with God's prophecy, it must come to pass. We cannot pray against it. We can only pray for more time, pray for more people to be awakened, share with both Christian and non-Christians of the things to come. This is a different way of evangelizing, called apocalyptic evangelism. I did say earlier, but if you back up the video, you may remember me listing 2026 as the earliest date the pandemic agreement can become law, and 2029 as the latest date the Gestapo, National IHR, will be in place for most countries. My take is that you can expect the next pandemic to happen between 2026 to 2029. In Module SO6, in the month of May, I forecasted that the next pandemic can appear. At that time, I have much less data to work on. Do you remember what I put down? January 2026 to December 2028. Now with more data, I have revised it to 6 months later. I sincerely pray to God that we truly have more time. I strongly believe that the next pandemic could usher in the Pale Horseman. We shall visit this in the next session. We shall recap the timeline of the 4 horsemen that I presented in the Re-Riot series, and I will risk forecasting when the unsealing of the 4th horseman could be, when to expect it, what to expect, and what can we do. This will be a very serious topic. Please pray for me and with me for the correct revelation that is from God. Till then, this is Kyle. See you in the next session. If you find this video beneficial, please click the like icon. YouTube algorithm automatically recommends it to others if there is higher like counts. You can also subscribe to my channel so that you can see my past and future videos. Finally, please forward and share with your friends so that they too can benefit. Thank you and God bless.